And back here in Israel, hundreds of thousands of people are in Tel Aviv right now getting ready for tomorrow's massive gay pride parade. Last year's event brought more than 200,000 people to the streets. The party starts early in the morning. It goes all night long. The parade is the biggest, of course, in the Middle East, one of the biggest pride events in the entire world. Tens of thousands of people come from other countries around the world just to be part of the Pride Week events. And joining me in studio is Avi Soffer. Avi is an LGBT activist and longtime supporter of the Pride Week festivities. You were there back at the very beginning, my friend. Tell us, what was your first Pride parade in Tel Aviv, and really how big was the crowd back then?
Okay, we didn't start with parade. First of all, we don't have a parade. We have a march.
March.
Parade is where everybody stands on both sides and everybody's cheering and people are few are walking in. Here, we march. Nobody's going to tell us to stand on the side, right?
Okay.
We all want to march. I started my first event, gay event, was at like 89 or something like this, but they were first at 79. The first gathering of LGBT people was in 79.
So in the late 80s, when you first participated in a march, I mean, were there even 100 people, a few hundred?
Let's settle for 20.
That's not a big crowd.
No, and we didn't march. We took some cars.
And were people supportive of you? Were they confused?
People had no idea what it is. And we had one flag, and people would stop me to ask, "Okay, which country is that? You're ambassador of which country?" Nobody knew it. People had no idea.
So what was it like for you, as to see this grow year after year to now we have tens of thousands of people? You can't move in the city. Everyone is here having fun. What's that like for you to see it grow?
It's amazing. It's a miracle on one hand, and on the other hand, it's like climbing a ladder. You look down and you see where you came from, but then you look up and see where you need to go. The pride is only one step. First of all, we have 9 prides in the country, per capita more than anywhere else in the world, including the States. It's crazy what's going on. We had 50 events in the city. The city of Tel Aviv is, through the gay center, LGBT center, is holding actually 48 different events. It's crazy. I have 3 events every day. We're actually working in Pride. It's amazing to see. And you know what a symbol of success? How do I know? I said, well, you know, we made it. We made a change. I see these 70-year-old kids, they walk the street, they walk hand in hand, and they say to each other, oh, let's go home. It's too warm. You see, it's trivia for them. They don't know anything else. They don't know how it was.
So what are the still, as much progress as you've made, as the community has made, what challenges, even here in Tel Aviv, are still left? What are some obstacles you still face?
Okay, it's 2 levels. On one level, okay, currently I am the logistic manager of the youth hostel. It's a shelter for youth. And kids are getting kicked out of home even now. It's called Bedro. It's in Tel Aviv. So you think, oh, such a progress, how come they kicked out of home? On the other hand, I'm chairing an organization of trans people. I'm not a trans person myself, because these are the weakest link of the community, and on a personal basis, it's still happening. A progress is being made, but we are never going to sit on our laurels and say, okay, we've done it. Never going to happen.
And you talked about how there was multiple, per capita, more pride events and marches here in Israel than anywhere else in the world. So let's talk about Jerusalem if we can for just a second.
Okay.
It's a particularly challenging city to hold these events. There's counter-protesters, there's deadly violence in some years.
Stabbing, yeah.
Deadly stabbings. What's it like to be in Jerusalem? Should these events be in Jerusalem? And what's it like to be there?
First of all, everything should be in Jerusalem as anywhere else, or any other city. There's no city that will going to tell me, don't go there, and I wouldn't. I don't want to spite anybody. I don't want to make anybody angry. But Jerusalem, I mean, I'm not going to hold a pride in Bnei Brak, probably. But I'm going to hold it in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, where the Knesset is, etc., etc. On one hand, it's difficult because there's a lot of opposition. It took the court to push the municipality to support it, etc., etc. On the other hand, it's different than Tel Aviv. Like, the city of Tel Aviv is different than the city of Jerusalem, right?
Of course.
Jerusalem is more somber, serious. We say you come to party in Tel Aviv, then you go to Jerusalem to pray for your sins. It's the same. It's a different, it's more political, it's more problems.
Even the Pride March, it's just a more somber, serious, reflective tone than an outright party.
It's different. It's different. There are parties in Jerusalem. I don't want to put my peers down for that. They're going to hate me if I do. There are parties, but it's a very, it's a different It's a different atmosphere.
I want to ask quickly, we're running out of time, but 30,000 people last year estimated from other countries coming here for Pride. So tens of thousands of people visiting Israel. What's your advice for tomorrow? I mean, obviously you got to drink water. Yeah, of course, drink water. But what's it going to be?
Be careful. If you get any trouble, there are helplines that will help you, especially the youngsters. We created a special helpline in case there is some problem. Somebody gave you something, you swallow something you don't know, you're stuck without transportation back home because it's Shabbat. Give us a call. Just be careful and don't get crazy. There's enough of nice people here, the nice parties at the beach. Don't go crazy.